Wonder Woman 84 is what we're talking about today, ladies and gents. Welcome back to the show. I'm Jamal Gaskin. These are Twizzlers, and what I'm going to talk about, again, is Wonder Woman 84. I have to say that I'm going to talk about it again because I think this might be the last time I talk about this movie. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But let's start with love. The performances between Pedro Pascal and Kristen Wiig, top notch. Kristen Wiig actually made me believe that she was the character she was. She plays, she plays actually a typical character that you've seen in a lot of comic book movies. She plays the kind of bumbling assistant worker that goes unnoticed. She's bumping into people. She's not very smooth. She can't walk in heels. And she drops her books and papers and all that kind of stuff. You've seen it in other superhero movies. And of course, she does not like how she is, and so she goes to change these things about herself, and of course she becomes a supervillain. That's how it usually happens. And she plays that very well. Pedro Pascal plays this failed business owner who's trying to get himself off the ground, and he just can't seem to do that. It's so hard to talk about this movie. Anyways, he plays his character very well. I also enjoyed the lesson that is taught in this movie. I enjoyed the movie is basically trying to teach you that you can get what you wish for, but that has consequences. I think that's the basic gist of the story. How they tell that story, though, I wasn't a fan. So let's get into that. Pedro Pascal's character, he, like I said, he's a failed business owner, and Kristen Wiig works with Wonder Woman at her museum. So they come across a whole bunch of artifacts. One of these artifacts, Wonder Woman recognizes, and it's this stone that can grant you wishes. So it's not like a lamp where like a genie comes out and you get 3 wishes. This, you can just wish for anything and it'll just happen. So Wonder Woman, that's where Chris Pine comes in. She wishes Chris Pine was still alive. Steve Trevor. She wishes he was still alive. And so he comes back, and he's in 1984, and this time Wonder Woman is the one showing him around. When Pedro Pascal, the villain, comes into contact with this stone, he sweet talks Kristen Wiig's character. She finds a way to get the stone around him. He takes the stone from her. Now he can do whatever he wants with this stone, and he wishes to have the powers of the stone. So, but when he gets the powers of the stone, he realizes that, like, if people wish on him, he gets to take something of theirs. Right? So, for example, there was this time he went to this warlord, and he got him to say what he wished for. He granted it, but then he's like, okay, I'll take all your security. And all of this guy's security, hundreds of people in this guy's castle, just go missing and go straight with Pedro Pascal, his character. Sorry, I don't remember his name in the movie, so I'll just keep calling him Pedro Pascal because I remember him. He gets drunk with this power, and he wants to try to broadcast himself worldwide so everybody can wish through him, and he gets to take something of everyone's all at the same time. of course, the world went into chaos. And of course, and that's what Wonder Woman has to try to solve. Now, you might be asking, what does Cheetah have to do with this story? Kristen Wiig's character. Well, she was the bumbling employee. She wanted to not be so bumbling, so she wished that from the stone. And then from when Pedro Pascal was the stone, technically, that's when she says the line that's in the trailer, I wish to be an apex predator. Right? And then next thing you see her is as Cheetah. By the way, we didn't get much of Cheetah being Cheetah and as Cheetah. Kristen Wiig was Kristen Wiig for most of this movie. Anyways, that was the plot. A couple things, the dislikes in this movie. I talked about the plot, the stone. Why in 2020, after Aquaman, after Justice League, after Batman v Superman, after Jesus Christ, after Avengers, Endgame, Infinity War, why after all these movies, it's 2020 and does Wonder Woman 84 look like a CW show? That's one question I have. Immediately, in the opening scene, we see Wonder Woman as a kid. This is in the previews. Wonder Woman as a kid, and she's doing this whole obstacle course thing. And through shots of that, I'm like, wait a second. Why does she look like she's cut out of, like, this girl will be running, and it looked like, I swear, the green screen was screaming at me. Why does it look like this? Superman didn't look like this. And I don't want to hear about how it was supposed to be set in the 80s so everything looks more cheesy. No. There's a way to do cheesy, and there's a way to film the 80s so that it doesn't look horrible. This looked terrible. That wasn't even the only scene either. The part in the previews where she flips the truck. Why does it when first of all, Gal Gadot isn't a good actress, but that's okay. She plays Wonder Woman just fine, enough to be Wonder Woman. But why is it that when she's flying through the air in this movie, she does this whole... It doesn't look like she's putting it in any effort. And the effort she does put in, like when she's trying to basically leg press the trucks out of the way, I don't believe it. And I have a feeling, I'm not a big filmmaker or anything like that, or a film buff or anything like that. But I have a feeling that the CGI or the special effects or whatever go hand in hand with the actress. And I know these directors know what kind of actress she is. I'm pretty sure these directors, who directed this? Patty Jenkins. I'm pretty sure Patty Jenkins knows Gal Gadot is not the best actress in the world. So you got to make sure your special effects make up for that, kind of. They didn't. These things look CW. And dare I say, maybe even worse. So, in the beginning, as I said, when she's a kid and she's going through this obstacle course, Yeah, the special effects weren't that great, but I think that was meant to show the golden armor that she wears in the end to face Cheetah. I don't know why she had to wear that to face Cheetah. When she described this golden armor, I think it was to Steve Trevor. She described this ancient warrior used it to fight off. I think that she said the rest of mankind. The rest of mankind, and Wonder Woman just happened to pick up the armor to go fight Cheetah. One person. I don't buy it. Also, another thing that was strange. Actually, no, three things that were strange. I'm about to go off on this movie because I really didn't like it the more I think about it. Wonder Woman has an invisible jet in this movie, and she learns to fly in this movie. Let me say that again. Wonder Woman has an invisible jet in this movie and learns to fly in this movie. Same thing. If you can fly, why do you need a jet? And if you have an invisible jet, why do you need to fly? That was one thing that I raised my eyebrow at. And I was like, you know what? They're reaching now. They're reaching. Wonder Woman is cool enough. You don't have to do this. She doesn't. Get her to learn to fly. That's fine. Superman can fly, and in some comic books, Wonder Woman can fly. Get that to happen. The time of the invisible jet is done. It's played out. Another thing. So Chris Pine's character comes back, and because Wonder Woman wished him back from the stone, she made a mistake and wished him back from the stone, and in turn, she was losing some of her powers. She didn't know that was going to be the case. Anyways, Chris Pine comes back as Steve Trevor, except in another man's body. Chris Pine comes back as Steve Trevor, except it's in just some dude's body. And they actually show that he's another guy. So they do the whole trope where the person, Chris Pine, goes to a mirror, and sees someone else, sees who he actually is. How Wonder Woman realized that was Chris Pine, I don't know. Oh, I think he said something from the other movie that was familiar. Still not enough. And still, I don't know why he's in another guy's body. If you're gonna have him come back, just have him come back. Because everything else everybody else wished for just happened. So that was weird. Did I say there were three things? Yeah. I think the ending fight scene was awful. It was just a CGI mess. I never got the impression that Wonder Woman was in any trouble, ever. Never got the impression that Cheetah was gonna win. I can't even tell you. Oh, remember when Cheetah did that move? Remember when Wonder Woman did that move? I can't tell you. Like, at least in Man of Steel, I can say, for example, at least in Man of Steel, I can say, remember when Superman flew through the spaceship to stop the world engine. At least I could say that. I could say that. In Aquaman, at least I could say. Remember when Aquaman rode that massive beast under the sea and stopped the war? That was badass. Wonder Woman 84. And you know what? At least in Wonder Woman, the first one, I can go back and say, remember when she was on the battlefield and she took all those bullets on the shield? She just walked through the battlefield and took everybody on. Remember the siege in the town? That was badass. I'm telling you, I can't pick one moment where I saw something that was like that in this movie, Wonder Woman 84. Like, I understood what was going on, but it never looked cool enough. Not cool enough. Actually, yeah, it never looked cool enough because I never believed it. Wonder Woman 84, man. You know what? I really, 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 really wanted to like this movie. I really did. I don't know, man. You win some, you lose some, I guess. But Patty Jenkins, how do you go from the first Wonder Woman to this is beyond me. I get you tried to do the whole 80s thing, but I don't know. There's a way to do 80s and not have it look like this. Like, man. Anyways, my final verdict on Wonder Woman? It's that time, huh? I'll give it a 5 out of 10, to be honest. A 5 out of 10. Like I said, I hated Justice League because I knew what it could have been. This is worse. This is worse. I'm sorry. 5 out of 10 for Wonder Woman. Also, you know what? Also, Wonder Woman's lasso. Let's talk about this. Wonder Woman can now swing on clouds, lightning bolts. She can now create invisible fields with her hands. Fly. I don't know where Wonder Woman's powers end or start. I thought I knew. I'm a pretty big superhero buff. I might not be a movie buff, but I'm a pretty big superhero buff. She said when she was creating this invisible field to Steve Trevor, she said, I've only managed to do this one time. And she said, whoever was in charge of covering Themyscira with this invisible force field showed it to her. And she was only able to do it once with something much smaller. She said this. All of a sudden, inside, on cue, she creates this invisible force field that covers the jet and makes it invisible. Therefore, she has now an invisible jet. By the end of the movie, I don't know where it is. Well, of course I don't. It's invisible. But at the same time, they don't talk about it again. I hate this movie.